Hey there, how y'all doing today?
Doing good.
Doing good. Hey there, out in the virtual space. Wanted to say hello to you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Greetings from Nineveh Missionary Baptist Church. We are so happy that you decided to tune in as we are doing an installment of Living in the Word on love.
Yes.
Love, that four-letter word, you know. You know when people say like, "Oh, did he say the L word?" I was like, "He loves me." But we're not talking about that kind of love. We're talking about a different type of love. But you got to stay tuned in and figure it out. On today, we got a couple of quick announcements as we get started. First and foremost, if you have found this series to be a blessing, if it's your first time tuning in, if you are a regular watcher, can you please let us know? We would love if you would like this message, share it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a comment. Any type of engagement is always encouraging to us to know how we are encouraging you. If you are new here, or maybe you've been kicking around the tires trying to find a church home, man, I really like that broadcast, but I haven't had a chance to come see them. Come visit us. We are located at 1067th Street North, Birmingham, Alabama, 35206. You can always come see us on Sundays at 10 a.m. or on Wednesdays at 5:30. We have prayer, and that's not in person, that's over the phone. So just call us at 351-999-3535. But after that, in person, at 6 o'clock is Bible study, and then at 7 o'clock is an individual book of the Bible study. We'd love to have you. We'd love for you to stop by and just join our family. It's enough room for all of us. It's a family. It's a family. It's a family. So I'm gonna kick it over to you, Papa Jay.
Oh, you kicking over?
Well, no, I'm actually kicking it to Mama Jay. I'm sorry. I misspoke. I looked at you because you know you got me.
You're right there.
It's all good.
Because we literally are a family.
That's right. That's right. You kicking, I'm catching.
Come on.
Okay.
Best mother in love ever.
We have been talking about the Chic-Fil-A model as it relates to how we should be treating one another, how this whole love thing should be displayed. And I believe in the last couple of episodes we've talked everything from to show up to have a good product. I believe last week we ended on treat others the way you want to be treated, which brings us right into being in that space where we show respect and love for one another. To be courteous.
To be courteous.
To be courteous. In a world where people want to show you their middle finger, in a world where people want to yell and scream, in a world where people are hiding behind screens and emails to yell and shout at people.
Oh no.
We need to show courtesy and respect. Now, many years ago, when I got ready to graduate from high school, you remember, they always tell you what you're going to they always label you as something. Most likely to succeed. That's on this side of the room. I recall from your high school, you were the friendliest. I find that very interesting because he's not considered the grumpy deacon.
But he's everybody's best friend.
He is everybody's best friend. And oddly enough, I was named the most courteous person in the class. Curious, right?
Curious.
But I learned very early that if you're polite, people hear you.
Oh yeah.
People hear you. If you're respectful, you'll get the attention of not only your peers, but of the adults in the room. And if you show a little love, you get a lot of grace. So when you go to Chick-Fil-A, they're courteous, aren't they?
They're very courteous. Yes.
How may I help you?
How may I help you?
Not go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's for somebody out there who might need that.
Next.
You know, they say, will there be anything else? Not anything else. Would you have I completed your order? You say yes. You know what they say?
My pleasure.
My pleasure. They don't say, drive up, drive around. My pleasure.
I've sat
I'll
there
see you
waiting.
at the window.
I've sat there waiting on somebody to say, drive on through. I'm like, okay, did they get it? Yeah.
Yeah, but the expression is, well, they know we finished, so come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's the little things
Yes.
and your attention to detail that can get you from point A to B with no problem.
Yeah.
It's those little things that get people's attention. And they think, I want to go back there. It's something about that pastor that, he was so kind. And there's something about that young lady. Her smile, and she was so kind when I came in, and she was so helpful. It's something about that grumpy deacon. But no, seriously, there's something about him that when I walked in the room, it wasn't just that he was there to help me, but it looked like he wanted to help me. There's a difference between it's my job and it's my pleasure.
My pleasure.
We need to act like it's our pleasure because it is. If we go back to the product that we have, and I believe you mentioned this, I believe on one of the first episodes when we got to this Chick-Fil-A, we're the wrapping. If you come through us to get to the product.
Yeah.
If the wrapping is wrinkled and messed up, if it's nasty, I don't want what's on the inside. And what's on the inside is so good.
So good.
Yeah.
But if we don't present it well, if we don't package it well, we're not doing our Lord and Savior the service that he deserves because people won't get to.
I would challenge us to think of if maybe the product in this scenario is ourselves. Like maybe we're doing some introspection here.
Let's go with it.
We're doing some self-work, The new kids call it self-care. Like the new generation, right? But if we are going to take a moment, and I'll just be completely transparent. I had a long overdue conversation. It was about 45 minutes with one of my best friends. And he was one of my work friends, and we are like, how people say you got like work spouses and people that you work with or whatever. We don't have that. We are work brother and sister. Because like if you put us together, like our parents are so similar, our stories are so similar. I love his wife. He loves my husband. He is about 75% of the reason why I married Cole, because I would come to work every day and talk to my work friend about Cole. He'd be like, when you gonna just give the boy a chance? And so his name is Sammy, and I love Sammy. I love Sammy like a brother. And I'm on the phone with Sammy for about 45 minutes, and I was venting. I mean, if I had been a pressure cooker, you had popped that spout. Like, I am going off. Now, not in I don't think, my husband's looking behind the camera, I don't think I went off too bad. But I definitely, like, just let it all hang out. Like, there was probably some tears. There was probably some screaming. And I wasn't at my best, and I was just like venting about everything I got going on at work, everything I got going on in my personal life, just like I'm not happy, like just having a moment. And what he said to me, it's me airing my laundry, saints, so y'all be careful. He said, he was like, what happened to the old Avery? Like, you ain't got that light no more. Like, it used to be that if something happened, you just like looked at it in the most positive way, and you were so bright and so warm, and you would encourage her. And I was like, he's like, what's going on? He started digging, and he started asking me more and more questions. And ironically enough, he's asking me the same questions my husband has asked me. So at some point, my husband walks out of the room because he was like, maybe he'll hear from her. Like, maybe somebody else can get through to her. And I am just, the reason why I think Sammy and I are so close in this particular scenario is because we both are attorneys, and we sat for the bar at the same time, and he used to work with me, so he knows my environment. And so while we are on different trajectories as far as like in life, like he's been married a lot longer, he's got 2 kids, like he knows what I'm kind of going through. And and Cole, what's great about my husband is because he has an outside perspective, he can always give me outside looking in. But so I'm like letting somebody from the inside out kind of like hear like what's going on. And he was like, like maybe you just like lost your passion. You seem like you lost your drive, or, like maybe you're outside the wheel or where you should be or whatever. Like, you just seem so down. And what I realized is that my packaging has changed. right? Like my outward perspective or the way I'm coming off or whatever is different. And life is happening, right? And he is close enough to me with saints. Hear this, where he can call me out on it. And he can do it in a loving way. He's not gonna hurt my feelings. He's not gonna be mean. But it was kind of like a self check. But in that moment, he made me question myself of, has my light gotten dimmer? Am I just kind of putting on? Like what is it? Like, I don't feel depressed. Like, I've been there, but, something is off. Like, it's just, you just don't feel right on the inside. And one of the things that I have been trying to work on is I've been just trying to get up earlier to spend more time with God, to try to work on that particularly this morning I spent a long time out in the 27-degree weather for about an hour of just walking and like talking to God, because I need him to answer me about that. Like what is it? And I realized I took my focus off of him, right? Mm-hmm. And so maybe the reason why sometimes the package is off, where it's wrapped up in that nasty wrapper, and it's actually a really good product. It's good food. Like I think I'm an all right person. Like my name in the Lamb's Book of Life. He working on me, but I'm in there. Like I'm gonna make it. But the reason why my packaging is off is because I lost focus of where I'm supposed to be. Like the thing about, like, he says that he will keep you in perfect peace, those who keep his mind on him, right? The reason why I had such a positive outlook and the reason why I'm able to be so light and bubbly and not be a light hidden under a lamp is because my perspective was actually on him and not on myself. And the more and more I focus on me and what I'm not doing right and what I can't get right and how I keep struggling. And listen, my husband probably going to have to resend this clip to me because I'm in the fire right now in this situation. If I have more faith in myself and my ability to perform, and I'm talking to somebody else too, whether it's paying the bills, raising a child, performing at work, getting the grades, doing whatever it is that I need to do. I got more weight in me than I do in God. That will absolutely dim your life and it's ruining your product. But I'm not even talking about your product for other people, of other people being able to experience your love. I'm talking about your self-love with yourself. Right. Like we don't even have to go to the conversation of, oh, well, you're coming off as such a person. You're supposed to be representing God, and you may come across unbelievers. You may be the only Bible somebody reads today. What if you the only Bible you read for yourself today? Like have you kept yourself aligned and focused and surrendered and intently, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me, Lord. Have you looked to the hills which come with your help to see yourself in his eyes and to see him? Or are you more focused on you? Because if that be the case, your rapper gonna stay. For lack of better words, I'm sorry. I know that kind of like went left. You're like, whoa. Cole looked up. But your rapper, your attitude is gonna be off. Like you're not gonna feel that good. You're not gonna do things with a spirit of excellence. It's just you just putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, going through the motions.
Going through the motions.
One of the definitions of courtesy is this word stood out as you were talking. It says behavior marked by polished manners or respect for others. And I started thinking about that as you were talking. Have you ever polished shoes?
I haven't, but I watched my daddy do it. And my husband. And he's got a whole little kit. But I used to be fascinated with my daddy because he had the machine and it stood up and you plug it in. You can see like this look like with a circle around it. No, he's sugar shard now.
Now, if you're polishing something, okay, you got your product, okay, and when I polish, you put the stuff on there, the dressing. It starts out one color, and then it gets dull, okay? And then you get a brush that's not smooth.
Help me, Pastor. He coming for me.
You get a brush that is not smooth.
That's good.
And you wipe the product. And if you're really good, you spit on it. If you want to spit shine. Yes. And after you brushed that product to a close shine, then you get a rag. and you start buffing.
You
And
preaching.
You can buff, you can buff, you can buff, you can buff, you can buff. It's a process.
And I feel like that shoe just being beat up.
Yeah.
I know where you're going. Come
Let
on.
me tell you something. I had some shoes at work that was all scuffed up. And I had to polish those shoes, and I just kept on applying the product. Applying the product, because it was what we're talking about, right? Apply the product. I get the brush, rub it in, and then I got the cloth, and then I buffed it. And before you know it, the scuffs, the scars, and everything was off.
Came on
And
off.
I had some shiny shoes.
You know what? As you were talking, the Holy Spirit was just like ministering to me too. Sometimes the reason why we are, okay, I got another story. Cole bought me a pair of shoes recently because I wanted to start walking. Truth be told, he had bought himself a whole bunch of shoes, and I came home one day and I said, "Where are mine?" I was like, "You didn't buy me any shoes." He was like, "Okay, next time I go, like we'll buy you some shoes." And I wanted some shoes to start walking because we have a trail right by our house. Because I wanted to go walk, take the dog or whatever. This was before we got the dog. Got the dog here recently, and I have a retriever. And if you don't know, retrievers will sniff out anything. They'll sniff out anything. Like, good Lord, like Loki. You know, he may be kin to a hound. Like, he will sniff it out. Well, when we first got him, one day I took him out, and he was still trying to learn the house and like figuring stuff out. And he took me round the back of the house, a way that I never go. And he took me down through the mud and all in the back of the house or whatever. And I came in, and I was like, my shoes are dirty. Like, my shoes are so messed up. And the thing that the Holy Spirit just kind of said to me, sometimes we get scuffed up going new places. Or going into new circumstances or new situations. At least for me and mine, like I've never been in this situation before. I've never been a newlywed before. I've never been, in this year of my practice. Or I've never been today. I've never been through today. Yes. Right? Yeah. I'm in new territory. I've been led by God. He has ordered my steps. But now I got to come back in the house and polish up these shoes. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, but that is part of showing courtesy. That is part of being love. That is part of being respect. And maybe you're somebody and you're the me in the situation where you're going through it, or maybe you're helping somebody polish. Maybe you are a mentor, a parent, a friend. You ain't got to be a mentor. Sometimes you can just be same level or younger, and you can notice that kind of situation. Showing courtesy and being gracious and encouraging. In the way that y'all have been as I'm going through this process, or as we all are going through this process, like that is truly a good way to model the product.
Yeah, it's true with Kathy. When he founded this restaurant over 17 years ago, and he wanted it to be a model of hospitality. And so he inculcated a principle from the Bible called the second mile. You've heard it basically with the Israelites being under the Roman overlords. A Roman soldier could walk up to you, Avery, and compel you to carry his pack, his backpack, the weight of it for a mile, right? Jesus said, no, don't carry it a mile. He says if they compel you to carry it a mile, carry it 2 miles. So when you look at where Chick-Fil-A is, they're there because they instill that in their, employees, their team members, their managers, that we are going the second mile. And I think sometimes to be courteous, because every client, every customer is not courteous to you. So you've got, so you've got to go the second mile to be courteous.
Well, think about it. When Jesus was telling the people this, if I had to guess, they weren't coming to Jesus for him to tell them to go the second mile. They were coming to complain.
Absolutely.
They were like, now, Lord, you got to see how these people treating me. Like, you see we're under this oppression. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And I would think, and not that I would think, I know, and I just do it in a different way. That when sometimes I go to God and I'm like, man, God, look at this XYZ. I'm under this person and it's just not working out. And
Yes.
I can do that sometimes. And And imagine the shock on the person who, said, and the answer was, oh, okay, we'll go second mile with them.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to go half a mile with them.
Yeah. Why they got me on it? I read this beautiful story in the Old Testament. It's about this man by the name of Nabal, I think is how you pronounce it. And his wife's name is Abigail. Well, David had been kind to his men and protected them, and so now he's shearing his sheep, and this is a time of festivity. So David, basically makes an appeal, and he says, hey, you're celebrating, why don't you just, throw a little bit my guy's way, a good meal, we protected you. And so this guy insulted David, right?
He bit the hand that fed him.
Yeah,
Like
who is David, And then he says something to the fact that, you got these renegades popping up all over. So he even, kind of tarnished David's character and who David was. At the time, David is actually sitting in a place where he's about to be exalted as king. So what David does is he summons his men. He tells them, hey, get your swords. We got a little business to take care of.
Let's ride.
But Abigail steps in, who is, first of all, a very beautiful woman, but her spirit is also beautiful because she's kind, she's courteous.
And for those who don't know, Abigail was Nabal's wife. So let's keep this in.
Yeah, thank you.
No. Just, gotta draw the line of who's on whose side here.
So she prepares this meal for David and his men. She goes and she meets David, and when she sees him, she bows. She's gracious. She venerates him. And she offers this meal, and she makes an appeal to him on behalf of her husband. Perfect model of what I see as being courteous. She was courteous. So she saves the husband's life. She saves, because David was going to wipe out all of them.
All of them.
Right? So he saved their lives, and in essence, he saved her own life.
And what she also did in her appeal, in her intercession, is how I see it too, is that she did what my husband does for me all the time, or what Sammy did for me that day, was she talked him off a ledge.
That's good.
She said, okay, now wait a minute. First of all, you are hungry. Let me feed you. Let's not make decisions when we're hungry. My therapist says hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. HALT. You see the acronym. Let's pause. Let's pause for a second. My nutritionist says we don't make decisions in despair. We make a wise choice here. And not only did she feed them, when you read the Bible story about it, the detail of homegirl prepared a feast. She laid it out. In fact, some Bible scholars say that it was the perfect portion for all of the men, even all the way down to the amount of wine. She literally, if she was a caterer that day, she packed it up and made it right. But in that intercession, after she fed him and presented this offering, and she bowed low and she gave him the reverence and respected him, and talked up his ego a little bit. I may need to go read that story. This is a good way how to negotiate with a man, especially the mine that's sitting behind the camera. But what she does is she reasons with him of now listen, David, come here. You don't want this blood on your hands. He's a fool. His name even means fool. Now I'm his wife. I was I'm negotiating here. But so many times, in that intercessory and that advocacy place or whatever, you gotta negotiate a little bit. You don't want to do something that you're going to regret. You are clearly angry, you are clearly upset. And sometimes that is even extending courtesy too. Because so many times, you said, what about my spouse? He said, what about my husband? But taking that other approach, as my husband often does with me, I'm well, wait a minute, babe. I was let's think about this for a second. And that was courteous. It was courteous and it was loving.
Sometimes we don't recognize the power of courtesy. Now think about this. let's just, string back a little bit, right? Here's David in his anger. He wants to take vengeance. But God's plan for him is his destiny, is kingship, right? He's going to become the sovereign of Israel. But what if he had blew his cool and there was not someone there to be courteous and, as you put it, Avery, talk him down off his ledge?
Wow. I was thinking about every now and then. I remember we had that Eagle Vision. You remember that car? It was a Dodge. If you, for the younger people,
An Eagle Vision.
it was like a Dodge Intrepid. You remember that car? Oh, y'all don't remember that? Oh, it was nice car. But it was a Dodge. And it stayed in the shop. And we would go to the shop. And we would sit and wait. Later on in life, we got a Lexus.
Hey.
Okay. So we took our car to the shop. And they gave us a courtesy car. They went the extra mile. So I didn't mind.
Yes.
And so and now we take the car to the shop, and sometimes they'll give you a courtesy car, but if you take it to the shop, they wash your car. An extra mile. And that's the courtesy that you get. It started out, like I said, we had the Dodge Intrepid, which I love that car. We didn't have any problems with it, did we?
Yes, we did.
Oh, we did? Oh, it was a Dodge.
I love how time, really.
Erase all those memories. But they never gave us a courtesy. We would go in the Lexus dealer and they would feed us.
Yeah.
They had food and everything.
Well, early on, they used to put gas in the car.
They would fill the tank up.
Yes.
Oh, how times have changed.
Oh, how times have changed.
Courtesy has taken a nosedive.
Yeah, courtesy.
But it's not
It'll get
dead.
you a long
It's
way.
not dead.
It's not dead. Like, chivalry is not dead. I think you just have to, as I was kind of explaining with my story, it's like you got to know where to look for it from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you got to know how to recognize it, or how to see it,
Or how to give it.
Yeah.
or how to give it.
Yeah, or to bring it home, Avery, think about this. Some of the ministries that we aspire to be like, some of the ministries that are thriving and, that's one of the things that they capitalize on. You don't show up without someone being extremely courteous. They greet you in the parking lot. They make you feel welcome. We have some great ushers here, but it would be even greater if we had 4 or 5 greeters out there. Letting people know, hey, you're loved here. You're welcome here. It's all a part of being courteous.
It really is. Going the extra mile. A lot of people don't want to do that extra mile. You know why? Because it costs.
It costs.
Nobody wants to pay that extra cost.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's worth it.
Yeah, I was looking at, they have what they call the core 4, which is create eye contact, share a smile, speak enthusiastically, and stay connected, make it personal. But when it came to the second mile, what they did was they delivered the meals for what they call high needs guests. So like if you come in and you make a big order, they're going to say, well, Mr. Goodman, we're going to help you carry that to your vehicle, and they touch your table. They make sure that they stay connected to you. They come, they touch your table frequently. And so those things that show you, hey, you're valuable to us. You're important.
And this is a fast food restaurant.
Absolutely.
And usually, I had a buddy that did the where you get free meals. You go in and you eat, and you have to do it. You're basically grading the restaurant. Have y'all? I hadn't done it, but I figured it'd be a good deal for somebody like me. So you get a free meal, and you come in and you make sure you do all the checklists. But you know, usually that's at not high dollar restaurants, but at restaurants you're gonna spend $20, $30, $40, $50 at. And but at Chick-Fil-A, which is a fast food restaurant, if you go in there, the manager might get you an extra drink while you're sitting at the table. You know, the lady that's sweeping the floor comes and say, "Oh, you need something?" And you know, that's the extra mile.
Yes.
And I want to encourage people that we've got to learn, we got to go the extra mile.
Yes.
And not because we want something.
Yeah.
We want to go the extra mile because that is the way that I would love for people to treat me.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when you pull up our Facebook page, we're actually rated. You know, people actually give us 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. And I guess my question is, if we're going to be like Jesus, shouldn't we aspire to have 5 stars from every person that walks through the doors, every person that shows up in the parking lot? 5 stars.
5 stars.
I felt loved. I felt valued. I felt welcome. I heard the gospel preached. I had a worship experience. We want the 5 stars.
Amen.
Amen.
You know what? We have talked ourselves out of time.
It's always
You
fun.
talk so much, Vanessa.
I know. But we are not finished, so we have a few more to go in the model, I believe. But we're coming off of Thanksgiving, so tune in with us, stay strong with us, and we will see you next week, or we'll see